Oh, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of Morning Jocks. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you for the next hour. And as always, we appreciate you making us a part of your morning each and every day right here on Jocks as it's cold again. So that was fun while it lasted. It'll be warmer this afternoon, but it was just waking up and seeing the temperature start with a 3 again. It was, oh, here we go again. But
yeah, it's
going to warm up.
Maybe Phil was up to something. Maybe he did know that we were.
Yeah, Phil was lying through his you-know-what earlier in the week, but I guess, I guess he kind of figured it out. But the good news is, as I'm looking at the weather right now, it is going to be above 60 degrees at least every day for the next 8 days.
Let's go. It's just a chilly start. It
is just chilly start. That's all right. But, you know what? I'll take the cold weather over the pregnant horse thing. So I think we're doing we're starting off the day better. I'm assuming since that was not on the screen this morning that was a successful birth yesterday.
Yeah, but this is also just perfect. This is perfect luge practice weather.
It is perfect luge practice weather. So yeah, if you haven't seen it already, you can go on social media at Conrad VO Radio at RunDM6, and we have shared a wonderful post that the wonderful Molly Robinson shared on the 3-Man Front account yesterday because we've been covering the Olympics, and I have made it known that my favorite Winter Olympic event is the luge. And it looks like a lot of fun. And of course, at that point, it comes from, oh, okay, well, you have to do, you would probably like the tandem luge. And so naturally, me and Damien get paired together, and you can see what we would look like on a tandem luge, and we are going to try our very best to make that happen. Even though my wife was not happy when I told her about this last night. She said, no, you're not doing that. Like, why? And she said, like, you could actually get hurt. And I said, no, what's going to happen? Like, I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I break an arm. She's like, yeah, that's not that bad. My wife's never broken a bone, so she doesn't. I mean, again.
So she has. Okay.
I mean, again, do I want to break an arm?
Of course not.
No, but like, I mean, come on.
That's the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
I've
and you're not alone, brother. I got you.
Exactly. We've dealt with a lot of work. Well, and you're going to be on top, so like, if anybody's going under, well, no, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going off the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. That was a lot for people to digest at 6 a.m. I apologize. But, yeah, you can go check that out on Twitter if you want to have a good laugh. So, Molly did a great job with the picture of me and Damien just having a great time on the – is that what it's called? Is the luge the thing they go down, or is it the board, whatever?
To be honest, I have no idea. We just got out there and go, bro. We're athletes. That's what we do.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one way or the other. All right. That's enough of that. Let's get to some college hoops. That's what we had going on last night. We had some great games around the SEC, so a little bit more of a crowded slate last night than what we had going back to Tuesday. But that leads us to the Alabama Crimson Tide, who this was their, again, we've seen plenty of it this year, but for the first time in the last 5 games at least, it was Alabama without Charles Bediako. And in the first half, I was texting with some people, and we were kind of joking, like, maybe he was more important than we thought he was, because Alabama really looked quite lethargic in the first half of this game against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is a team that they typically have a lot of success with, but we remember, them coming to Tuscaloosa and getting a big win last year, and all the stuff that went into that, and now Alabama going to Oxford last night, and you look at the first half, Alabama. They did have a 2-point lead. It was 32-30, but with about, 4 minutes left in the first half, they had scored 20 points. Like, at one point, if you were just doing the math on how the game was going, Alabama was on pace to score, 45 points in the entire game. And you have to give Ole Miss credit for that, right? Because they dictated the tempo. That was the style they wanted to play, and they kept Alabama from running their game. So big shout-out to Ole Miss for the first half. Unfortunately, after halftime, that all went away. So quickly. Alabama scored 32 in the first half. They scored 61 in the second half.
Yeah.
That'll win you some basketball games.
Absolutely.
Right there. So the 3-point shooting was abysmal, as I said, in the first half. They couldn't score. At one point, they started off 3 of 19 or 3 of 20 from deep, and it was just, nothing was going their way. They just couldn't hit their shots, and then something something clicked in that last 4 minutes of the first half, and then, of course, what happened after the break, they just absolutely lit it up. So they finished shooting 38% from three, 17 of 45, but as I told you, they started off so poorly. I mean, you look at that, they finished like 14 of 25 from deep? Like, that's pretty good. That's definitely over 50%. That'll really do it for you. Latrell Wrightsell was great last night. He was 7 of 13 from three-point range. Every single shot he made was a three-pointer, so he had 21, which was really, really good to see. He was coming off the bench, and I know after the game, Nate Oates, very complimentary of Wrightsell, saying, hey, like, this is what happens when you're a team player, right? You don't get upset because you're taking out the starting lineup. You just say, I'm going to play the role that I need to play to help this team win, and you go out there and you lead the team in scoring off the bench. And, I mean, he played 31 minutes off the bench.
Right, so, off the bench.
He played more minutes than anybody else on the team last night.
Exactly.
Because he was playing so well. But Phylon gives you 18. Aiden Holloway gives you 12. Aiden Sherrill gives you 15. And Amari Allen, he gives you 13. But you just look at everything that he did for that game last night, just the efficiency of it. 4 of 6 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep. He was perfect from the free throw line. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He's pretty good last night.
Yeah, and for him, I think and again, I don't want to put him in this category, but that's the kind of stat sheet that you would see from Herb Jones back in the day. Like he's doing every.
It's a great comparison.
Yeah, it's a utility player amongst all that. The ball is just flowing, but he's doing everything that he needs to be. And I thought he was very important for Alabama, and I think that's a key factor in moving forward. Of hey, he may give you 10 points, he'll give you 7 to 8 rebounds, a couple assists, and he does it on the defensive end as well. And shout out to Latrell Wrightsell too, man. He handled that perfectly. And it seemed as though the ball just found him, and it was pretty much wide open when he was shooting the threes. Like he was
sitting at home in that corner last night.
Oh man,
that was
and
his
it's
spot.
like if you're Ole Miss at some point, you realize like 3 is out there. We got to at least put a hand in his face, because he's finding a bunch of open shots, and all of them are pretty much from 3.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So yeah, a nice win there for Alabama. Again, that's not one of those wins that's gonna be the top of your resume, but it's one of those games that if you were to lose it, it's going to be held against you in a pretty serious way. So that was a win that you needed to get. Alabama, they cruised 93-74. So a 19-point win. That is also a cover for, just if anybody was curious. But they are now 17-7 on the season, 7-4 in SEC play, and they have now won 4 straight meetings in Oxford against the Ole Miss Rebels. But the next time we see Alabama, that will be on Saturday, which, just a quick reminder to anybody, that is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That is Valentine's Day. So just watch the game. And then, it's at night, actually, so it might be problematic.
Yeah, handle your business during the day.
Handle your business during the day. That's right.
And remember, even if she says, I don't want anything.
Yeah, that's a trap. Just get her flowers.
Just ignore it. Just be like, hey, what do you want?
Yeah.
And she says, oh, nothing. I'm not saying it's a lie, but she ain't telling the truth. Just do it. Just do it.
It's a great way to put it. She's not lying, but she's not telling the truth. I like that. But yeah, Alabama, they're going to be back home in Coleman on Saturday, 7:30 tip. They're going to take on South Carolina. So another opportunity there for a nice conference win against, let's be honest, one of the not very good teams in the SEC.
Get right game.
Yeah, you should be able to handle your business. And then Arkansas will be your next opponent. That'll be a nice test there for the Crimson Tide. But, I mean, you look at what they have left on the schedule. I mean, Arkansas is going to be tough. At Tennessee and at Georgia won't be easy. And then you have Auburn at home to end the season. And, of course, that'll be a great game as well. But, I mean, in between there, you got South Carolina, LSU, Mississippi State. You should easily be able to handle your business there. And, I mean, then even if you just go 2-2 in those 4 games I just mentioned, you're going to be sitting there in a pretty decent spot. So we'll see how they're able to finish things up. But Alabama, they get the win last night over Ole Miss. You did have some other action going on around the Southeastern Conference, though. Florida smokes Georgia 86-66. Very similar to the first time they met this year, and it's just Florida's good, man.
Yeah.
They're playing their best basketball at the right time, so they are – I think they might be who we thought they were at the beginning of the season, or at least close to it, but they get a nice win. So they're now 18-6, 9-2 in conference play. They are at the top of the SEC right now. You had Tennessee. They get by Mississippi State 73-64. even though Josh Hubbard scored almost exactly half of his team's points. He had 31 points last night, and they still lose by 9.
Like, if you're Josh Hubbard at some point in time, you kind of have to look around and say, like, can I get some help?
That's one of those guys that I respect the heck out of him for staying
Right.
there because he could have,
Oh, he could have been gone.
yeah,
Yes.
and making a lot of money.
With ease.
But, and he's one of those guys. I just feel like he's been around for so long. Like, I feel like we've been watching him for 5 or 6 years now. And so I'll be sad when he's gone because, like, that's the guy I always know when I watch Mississippi State. Like, I want to see what Hubbard's going to do. But, yeah, I mean, I respect the loyalty, but, yeah, it's
tough.
I hate it for him. I really do. But Tennessee, they get a win. They're 17-7, 7-4 now in the SEC. So they're tied with Alabama, but obviously they have the head-to-head right now, so they would have the advantage there. And then maybe the best game of the night was Mizzou and Texas A&M. So Missouri, they escape with an 86-85 win there in College Station. So you had Missouri with you just don't see it a lot. The game-winning basket was actually an alley-oop with like 20 seconds left. It was just one of those throw it up and hope your big man comes down with it, and he did. And so they scored with about 20 seconds left to take the lead. And then Texas A&M, man, they just like Alabama, Rylan Griffin had a wide-open shot to win the game. He misses it. They get a rebound. They then call a timeout while nobody has the ball, and they still get the ball. And then their TRO boy, Mr. AG, he misses the shot at the end. Yeah. So, unfortunately for Texas A&M, they lose another close one. And I guess it's just a theory. All right, but this is what happened against Alabama. This is what happened now against Missouri. Maybe this is karma finally coming back for that Auburn game. It's like, all right, we'll give you that one, but you're gonna pay for it.
You're gonna pay for this in the long run.
I'm just saying that might be maybe that there's a little something to that, but a nice win for Missouri. They really needed that. And when you look at bracketology and where they project to be, because they're firmly on the bubble, so that was a nice one for them last night. But it's just kind of funny because it's like a lot like football season. When you look at the SEC standings right now, you know, Florida's at the top at 9-2. Kentucky and Arkansas are at 8-3. After that, Tennessee, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Mizzou, and A&M are all 7-4.
Yep. So
it's real jam-packed there in the top half of the conference. So
how many teams do you think you'll get in the tournament?
You know, we had Rocco Miller on 3-Man Front yesterday. He said right now he has 11. Yeah, we were kind of surprised by that. But he said he has 11 as it stands right now. I'm going to go with 9. I think Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Vanderbilt, A&M, that's 7. I'd say Georgia probably gets in. Right now, Missouri would have to be there 9, and then Texas and Auburn will be your bubble teams right now. And I think Auburn will get in. I think they'll be able to turn it around and get there. Just right now, they're in a little bit of a precarious spot. But
yeah,
I think 9 would be like the floor for me, and then hopefully 10 or 11.
He says 11, so he's banking on either Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Well, no, because he has Texas and.
He has like Texas firmly in.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Or like. Let me say this. He has some teams on the bubble that he's saying, like, okay, if they were to get it, you'd have 11 teams, basically.
Gotcha.
Like, there's that path right there for 11 because they're all right there in the conversation. But, yeah, certainly very jam-packed as it stands right now in the SEC. But that's, hey, parity, man. That's why we like it. It's just like and when we were talking to Rocco, he said the same thing. He's like, it's like football. You don't have the best team right now, but from top to bottom, the SEC is easily the most competitive conference and
100%.
Has the most parity. So
100%.
I guess we'll raise the banner for that since we're not going to win any championships anymore. But anyways, that's not important. But that's your SEC basketball update. So we'll dive into a little bracketology tomorrow, tell you where things stand heading into the weekend for your favorite team here in the conference. But we have college football news. We've got spring game updates, and we have a new addition to Kalen DeBoer's staff down in Tuscaloosa. We'll tell you who it is and where he's coming from next on Morning JOX. 6:20 here on your Thursday morning. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you on Morning JOX. Appreciate you tuning us in as we just went over SEC hoops last night. Alabama, they get a nice win over Ole Miss there in Oxford. A 19-point win there for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But now we go to the gridiron because we do have some news coming out for both Alabama and Auburn involving their spring games, and we'll get into all that and keep you up to date because it'll be here before you know it. It's already middle of February, and feels like 2 weeks ago the college football season ended, and it's been a little longer than that. So we're cruising along here in the off season. But the big news here for locally for Alabama is that they are expected to hire a new tight ends coach, and that is going to be Louisville offensive line coach Richard Owens, which I know a lot of people were, oh my gosh, it was the same thing that happened this past year with the guy that they hired as their offensive line coach, because it's like, well, he's worked with the tight ends most recently. And it's like, yeah, but you go back and look at his track record and he'll be fine. And this is another one of those situations where, yes, he's been the offensive line coach at Ole Miss, or excuse me, not at Ole Miss, at Louisville the last couple of years. Dude played tight end in the NFL. So I have a pretty good feeling that he probably knows how to play the position. He was also the tight ends coach at UAB. He's worked at South Alabama with Kane Womack. And now he spent the last few years there at Louisville. And I think on the plus side of it, and maybe even part of why this they're planning to bring this guy in, the offensive line's not been very good. And so if you could just have maybe another set of eyes on that group, or somebody just throw out a friendly, hey, this is what I'm seeing or what I think that's probably a smart, pretty good. Not bad to have extra set of eyes on a position group that's going to have to really step up this year.
Yeah, like we've been talking about really since the end of the season. With a lot of these hires, you look at what they've done in transfer portal and recruiting, all hands are on deck as far as fixing the trenches. Like it's Kalen DeBoer is making no bones about it. Like he knows, and he's doing the best job. And also, I mean, tight ends are important too because they help out in the run game. They can be an extension of your run game as far as when they get down, they have to block. They got to set the edge at times. They also help in the pass game. So I think when you look at the resume of the guys that they have coming in, you can tell that they are making an effort to fix this. Like this is an issue. And they're going to go about it the way that they are. And now it's just putting it all together. So I'm with you. The more expertise that you have, for up front, the better you're going to be. So I think that, a guy that has played in the NFL, has played the position at the highest of highest levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to know what he thinks about what's going on. Like, how do we work in tandem together from the tight end room to the offensive line room? It all works together.
Absolutely. And again, like, I think this is a situation where it's a guy that's definitely, letting you know that he wants to be at Alabama because he's a Louisville guy. Like, that's where he played college football. So this is him, mama called, and that's where he's been the last few years. And now he's, taking this opportunity, or expected to, here with the Alabama Crimson Tide. But he was undrafted in 2004, played 3 years with the Minnesota Vikings, then spent a year with the Rams, and then one final year on the practice squad with the New York Jets. But like you said, somebody that clearly played the game at the highest level at that position, and will have a lot of knowledge and things like that to share. Not a ton of SEC experience. He was a GA at Arkansas for a couple of years. That's how he got his start in the coaching world. But he was the tight ends coach at UAB for a couple of years. He was the offensive coordinator at UAB in 2013. And then he went back, and he was the offensive line coach at UAB from 2019 to 2021. So I know a lot of people around here are going to be familiar with Coach Owens, and we will see what he's able to do there at the Capstone. I did tell you we got spring game news coming up because it was announced yesterday. Alabama announced that they're going to have their A-Day game on Saturday, April the 11th. It'll be a 1 o'clock game, and they're going to have details and things like that in the coming weeks as you get prepared for that. But you can go ahead and mark your calendars. So that'll be almost exactly 2 months from today on Saturday, April the 11th. And I know that's when they've got Morgan Wallen coming, right?
Yeah, I think it's April 18th.
Yeah, it is, because they were saying that I guess some of the I guess they will have done some things to the stadium seating wise
Mm-hmm.
for the concert, and so there might be some confusion or things like that. Things might be a little different for people, but
So you'll be in Tuscaloosa back-to-back weeks, won't you?
I'll be there one of those weekends.
Oh, you're going to the concert. I got you. Because you don't need to go to the spring game. Ain't nothing going on.
Big Morgan Wallen fan, as you know.
Huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got that song about the Braves, and
And Broadway girls.
is that his most popular song?
No. He's Lil Durk's in it. I just figured.
Oh yeah, okay, I've heard that one. Yeah, I've heard that one.
You from Overlock?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't get it twisted. And then also for your speaking of that next weekend with Morgan Wallen, if you're not an Alabama fan, you'll be at the Auburn A-Day game.
Yep.
Because that will be on Saturday, April 18th. So you'll get Alabama the 11th, Auburn the 18th, and then I don't know. Maybe if you're an Auburn fan, you just make a day of it, right? You start off at A-Day, and then you drive across the state, and you go cheer on more. See, that would be an interesting question, right? And maybe if you are in this situation, please let us know, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. But, like, do you think there's, like, let's say you're an Auburn fan, but you are a diehard Morgan Wallen fan. Like, I do wonder if there's people that go, I can't go to that concert because I'm not going to Bryant-Denny to watch it. I wonder if that's a thing or not.
Because that adds to the level of hate. Like, I actually would respect it if you did.
Well, yeah, absolutely,
It's
because you're putting aside the fact that it's maybe your rival stadium, but you're going to an event that you're very excited for. But I could see there legitimately being people like, I'm not going to that concert even though I really want to because of where it is.
That is a great question.
I just wonder, how deep the rivalry runs for some people. And I would imagine, for some people, it runs really deep. So,
say if Kid Cudi was at Jordan Hare, would you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't care. Yeah.
Well, if he was playing at Neyland.
Yeah, that'd probably be a pretty cool place to get. Morgan Wallen played there, right?
Yeah, he did.
It worked out. Yeah, dude. Any of my favorite, or a good thing is I can go to amphitheater and see
Absolutely.
Kid Cudi. But yeah, if you're telling me like, oh yeah, Drake's doing a college stadium tour or something, I could have.
You go to College Station?
I was about to say. I wouldn't because of the travel, but if somebody like caught my plane ticket, I'd absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Great. Absolutely.
In a heartbeat. Wouldn't think twice.
Well, I'd have to see what the Merry Milkmen did because they should be incorporated into the program there. But yeah, that's your A-Day schedule. So that'll be here before you know it. Again, if you're just now joining us, Alabama's April 11th, Auburn's is April 18th, and going to be a lot of fun this spring as a lot of intrigue for both of those programs. Obviously, with Alabama and their quarterback change and a lot of new faces there, and then Auburn with Alex Golish and Byron Brown and the rest of those guys, and some expectations that he's going to be able to win immediately and be able to turn this thing around. So it'll be a lot of fun as we get closer and closer and dive into all that good stuff here for spring ball. But before we move on, did want to remind you of an event if you're just chomping at the bit that's coming up this Sunday. It is not Morgan Wallen, but it's even better because it is the Bartow Classic at Bartow Arena this Sunday, February the 15th. UAB will be hosting Tulane. Tickets are available for you right now at uabsports.com. It's UAB basketball versus Tulane this Sunday, February 15th, 1 o'clock tip, and you can get 2 tickets and 2 $10 concession vouchers right now for a grand total of $45, and $2 from every ticket sold goes to the Gene Bartow Fund for Cancer Research. So get out there on Sunday. Again, celebrate your loved one on Saturday. Have a great Valentine's Day. Go out to Bartow for the Classic on Sunday. Watch UAB Tulane. And again, go get those tickets at uabsports.com. Well, we have something from the Alabama game last night that we didn't get to that I wanted to save for this part because we didn't talk a whole lot about Charles Bediako. And, I think for the most part, unless something new happens, it's in the past now. But I do think that there was a very classy gesture that was made by another SEC coach last night, and definitely a little bit of a different approach than maybe how we've seen some other coaches discuss and handle the situation there with Bediako and across college sports. So I want to dive into that a little bit, and a special moment there last night in Ole Miss. Hats off to one particular coach. We'll tell you what we're talking about next on JOX. Welcome back into Morning Jocks here, 6:34 on your Thursday morning. Conrad and Damien with you until 7 o'clock, when we'll hand you off to McElroy and Kublick in the morning. But if you're just now joining us, some of the big topics so far today, we've got Alabama and Ole Miss in SEC hoops last night. Alabama, they get the win, 93-74. They're on the road in Oxford, Mississippi. Latrell Wrightsell, he leads the way with 21 points, goes 7 of 13 from deep for the Crimson Tide. So he had a big night coming off the bench. Maury Allen, a big contributor. LeBaron Philon doing his thing as well, and really just kind of a whole group effort there for Alabama as they score 61 points in the second half after having a rough start there on the road. So they get themselves a nice win. But it was also the first game in a while, not this season, but in a while, without Charles Bediako, as he was denied his eligibility earlier this week. And that's been, a big topic, and we've heard a lot of coaches say a lot of different things about the situation. And, you've got some people that seem to understand, like, all right, this is the world we live in. Maybe we don't like it, but, they're doing what they, can as a coach. And then you have the Bruce Pearls of the world that, don't know how to look in the mirror and think that Nate Oates is the devil. So it, to each their own, I suppose, with how you want to handle that. But somebody that I thought handled this with a lot of class, I thought this was really, really cool. So we'll let you hear from Nate Oates directly. This was him post-game. This is actually like how he kind of started his post-game press conference. But this is Nate Oates talking about a special interaction with Chris Beard, the Ole Miss head coach, and Chris Beard with some encouragement, actually, for Charles Bediako going through all this. So listen to this. This is Nate Oates last night after the game.
Drive over yesterday afternoon, I get a call from Coach Beard. Oates, Beard. It's like, hey, I said, what's up? He goes, is Bediako with you? I said, no, we decided to leave him home. We didn't want him to have to go through the stuff he's had to go through on the road. And he said, look, I assure you that's not happening here. I've already met with the cheering section. Everything's going to be positive here. You won't get any of that here. So major respect to him for that. And then he said, I also got something I want you to give him. And he came to our shoot-around last night, handed me a note that I've kind of opened, took a picture, sent it to Charles. I'll give it to him in person when we get back. It was one of the most classy notes to a kid from an opposing coach, and it doesn't happen often, but one of the classiest moves I've ever seen. And he didn't do it to get any recognition, and that's not, he assumed I would just hand it to Charles, be it. But it basically, on the other side of adversity and difficulty is what fuels you on to success, and wish him success. He's pulling for him. It's not his fault that that there's no clarity in the rules. And I thought it was a extremely well-written, thoughtful thing for an opposing coach to do, that understands that we're still coaching young men, and this is not a object we're dealing with. It's a young man with a basketball career in front of him, with an educational career in front of him, and Coach Beard understands it, and you guys are super, super lucky to have him as your coach here at Ole Miss, for you guys that are from Ole Miss, and I respect Coach Beard a lot.
So there you go. That was Coach Nate Oates after the game last night, talking about Chris Beard and his gesture towards Charles Bediako, and again, just a very classy move there, and I think especially what he said at the end is we get caught up in this too, right? It's like, this is, especially for us, like, this is a job, right? And so you get so used to, I feel like, our perspective on student athletes has changed a lot now because of how much money they make, and you treat them more like adults. And I think at the same time, though, we can forget that, these are college kids technically, right? Or young adults that are going through these things, and not saying that, if you're not sympathetic towards Charles Bediako, okay, that's fine. But I guess just the fact that you have an opposing coach that realizes the situation at large, not just how it might affect, we might have to play against a team with a 7-foot guy that used to play in the G League, but you're looking at it for what it is, all right, what is this, how can this young man use this in the future so that this is a positive outcome at the end of the day, right? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't think, and maybe you do if you just hate Alabama or whatever, but I don't think anybody wants, like, his career to be ruined or wants him to, this to be it for him. If he can continue to play and have an opportunity, so be it, at the professional level. But I just thought that was really cool. You don't, like Nate Oates said, you don't hear about that stuff a lot. And especially for, just being straight up, a guy like Chris Beard that maybe doesn't have the best track record, to hear that kind of thing, like, that's I thought that was very cool. So you have to be proud to be a Rebel today, Damian.
Huh?
You're an Ole Miss guy.
They're a football. Yeah. But yeah, it's
Did
great.
that pull on your heartstrings a little bit?
No, but it was
Really?
it was classy. No, I don't care about Ole Miss basketball. But
No,
it was,
but I mean the gesture from Chris
absolutely,
Beard.
it was,
yeah.
it was nice. It was nice.
You don't care about him at all?
I mean, no,
Mm.
we just beat them last night, bro. I don't care.
We
You know me. Don't do that. You know me and you big Alabama basketball guys.
Mhm.
Huge.
That's right.
But football season is a different story.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect Pete Golden to do something like this for football. I
Mhm.
promise you that.
Mhm.
But it was a nice gesture from Chris Beard.
Yeah, it was. It was very very nice of him to do that. So
But like you said about Bruce Pearl, though, he called him selfish. No,
I don't even
Alright,
I don't even want to get into all that because I think we can all think about that for 5 seconds and realize how big of a joke that is that
Yeah.
Bruce Pearl of all people said that. But whatever, he's
like, dog, come on, man. Come on.
yeah. It wasn't selfish of him at all to abandon his team and force his son into this situation that everyone's frustrated with, right? We're not going to hold that against him. Sorry, I know no one wants to say that, and I'm probably not supposed to say that, but it's the reality of the situation, right? Let's be honest. We all know it's true, so it is what it is. You can be mad about that all you want, but there's your Auburn commentary because someone's on the text line. I just started listening and I realized that I was right. All day long, it's Alabama this and Alabama that.
Auburn played.
Did Auburn play last
Auburn
night?
played Tuesday
No,
night.
we talked about them a lot yesterday because they played. I mean, we can say if you want to listen to us talk about how bad they're playing in basketball right now, I'm sure we can do that, but I don't think you really want to hear that.
Right. They lost 2 straight, both at home. Can't really hit a 3.
You're benching your leading scorer because he's not playing team basketball.
Like these are facts. Like this is exactly what's happening.
It's nothing against Auburn. It's just there's nothing going on right now. It's fine.
Sorry.
Did they hire a new offensive line coach yesterday?
I don't think so.
Don't think they did. I don't think that they did. But we would love to hear from you. 205-834-9450. Your thoughts on everything going on. If maybe you don't buy the Chris Beard thing. Maybe you think it's just a PR stunt. I don't know. Or maybe you think it was a very classy move, like Nate Oates said there in that clip. But we would love to hear from you. 205-834-9450 as we roll along and continue on this Thursday morning edition of Morning Jocks. Is there a any particular or just
No,
is this just the vibe this morning?
yeah. Throwback Thursday. You don't know you're beautiful. It's a great song.
I didn't take you for a One Direction guy.
Oh boy, you are sadly mistaken, my brother. Yeah, hey.
So
you aren't 1D? You weren't rocking 1D? Harry
not
Styles?
particular. I like some of Harry Styles' songs now.
Zayn Malik?
Yeah, he was the one that he's dated Gigi Hadid.
Yeah.
Which was impressive.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say I was big like One Direction fan until after they split, and I kind of went back and listened. I was like, okay, I can see why they were so adored. Like they were pretty good, but individually, I'm more of Harry Styles. I think Zayn Malik deserves Harry Styles' career. I think Zayn is the actual best singer of the group. It's just he came out the gate. It's very similar to how Bobby Brown left New Edition. Like he went completely. Listen, but listen to me though.
I think that's the first time they've probably ever been compared to One Direction.
It's the way that it happened. It's Zayn jumped off the porch from like the bubblegum, this type music.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went straight into Pillow Talk. Like, He just left One Direction. So everybody's like, oh my God. Like, it's almost like a Disney Channel star. But then he hit with Pillow Talk, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, you realize they're not a kid anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And I was like, if he is going to be singing like this for the rest of his career, we going to rock.
All right, so Zayn Malik and Bobby Brown are the same.
As far as their artistic movement after they left the group. Okay. Yes, they're extremely similar.
See, this text comes in now on the Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. It says, "Are you girls want to talk about some sports now or what?" Hey, that was all Damon. He's the
listen.
He's the One Direction fan here.
I mean, we can talk ball and also listen to One Direction. I don't think the music has anything to do with it. You go to a football game, I promise you're gonna hear a Harry Styles song or a One Direction song.
No, you'll probably hear One Direction because they haven't updated their playlist in about 20 years. So I do think some places have gotten a little bit better. But yeah, for a long time, it's like, man, I felt like I heard the same songs at every sporting event for like 20 years of my life. But I think most people probably feel that way. Let's see. All right, let's get to some more of your text here as y'all are chiming in on a lot of different topics. Well, before we do that, though, do want to give a shout out because I know a couple people have mentioned this and thrown this along. But did want to give a shout out to UAB as they took down Tulsa last night on the road. So it's funny with this UAB team because, man, they're really having a rough time at home in conference play, but on the road, they've been really, really good. And Tulsa's a really good team. So they're 20-5, 8-4 in the American. UAB goes into their arena and gets the win 68-63. DeJuan Anderson, he has 20 points to lead the way for the Blazers last night. So that certainly was nice to see. They shoot 41% from deep and did a good job. Protected the basketball, only 6 turnovers for them. Overall in the night, they were better on the offensive glass than Tulsa. They had more blocks. They had more steals. They were creating havoc last night. So shout out to UAB as they get a nice win. They're now 16-9, 7-5 in the American Conference. And as we know, right, going to need to go and win that conference tournament to find your way into the NCAA tournament. But right now, if you look at the standings, USF is actually at the top. They're 9-3 in conference play. Then Tulsa at 8-4. And then you have a bunch of teams there at 7-4, and then UAB at 7-5. So hopefully they can, roll this into some momentum and find themselves heating up at the right time come American Conference tournament play. But now to the text line we go, 205-834-9450. Eric in Adamsville chimes in. He says, "I'm no legal expert, and I feel bad for Bediako, but I think the main reason Alabama lost the case was because he came in mid-season. If he had been there from the first game, they would have had a stronger case. The judge, the NCAA, didn't want a set precedent where you could just bring a guy in whenever needed. That's the whole reason for transfer windows." And I think that very well, that's a good point there, Eric, because you go and I know James Najee, the Baylor kid, is the one most people bring up, and that was something that was taken care of before the season started. So I think you might have a good point there, Eric. This text rolls in and says, "I hate when people text in to y'all complaining about what y'all are talking about. If they don't like it, there are plenty of other stations that are not nearly as good as y'all that they can go and take their time and listen to. But some of us, like me, love the show each and every morning. Roll Tide, guys. Thanks for what you do. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the kind words. Let's see. This guy says, hey, guys, would y'all ever want to do a show with the crew at Talladega for the April race? I feel like we would not be able to decide that, but I mean, yeah, whatever. Can we do the luge out there? Will they let us go up on the track? And
Gonna need some extra equipment, man.
well, I'm just trying to think because we were thinking yesterday of like safe places. I mean, that's probably pretty safe. As safe as it could be, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Never say never. Never say never. All right, this one's good. I like this one. This says Kalen DeBoer is the Temu version of who? Who do you think he would be the Temu version of? For anybody who doesn't know, that'd be like the off-brand, discount brand version of something. If you don't know what Temu is. Not an SEC coach.
I'd say that's tough. I'd say Mike Norvell.
Okay.
When he was at Memphis.
So you're saying Mike Norvell's a better coach than
No.
DeBoer?
No. Because I can't think of anybody that's not in the SEC.
He said Dabo.
What?
So he's a Temu version of Dabo.
How?
He said that he can't go outside of his own bubble to get a coach. At least Dabo won championships before he started doing this.
What's his bubble?
I guess he's insinuating that because he has a relationship with Kane Womack, and I think him and Brian Ellis work together as well, that I guess the belief that he's only hiring, which
that's not a bad thing.
That's how most coaches work.
Exactly.
They hire guys that they're familiar with and comfortable
with.
with. Now, sometimes it doesn't work. You know, they'll get a recommendation or something, but
yeah.
I just thought it was funny that he said he was the Temu version of Dabo Swinney.
I mean, multiple national titles. That's the Temu version. I take it.
Let's see. This he also says, without Bediako, Bama has 5 wins against ranked teams, and we're ranked number 17. So if the committee is going to ignore the Bediako games, it actually might help Alabama, right? And that's what I was saying. Like, if you want to take away the wins or the 5 games, that's fine because you take away that blowout loss to Florida, it probably actually helps you at the end of the day. Let's see. So, Lewis chimes in and says, Connor, you need to stop texting into the show to settle your beef with your haters. I was like, you caught me red-handed. You caught me.
you got
myself. Actually, these are all texts I just write to ourselves. I send these texts last night, and I just come in and read them, and I make up fake names to go along with it. Oh, here we go. Jason says, DeBoer is headed down the same path as Mark Richt. Which, okay, in the grand scheme of things, not a bad thing.
Right.
In Alabama world, that's not what you, because, you never got to the top of the mountain, which is
a bunch of wins, but no championship.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Mark Richt was a great coach.
He was.
Just, never quite did it. Someone said, y'all, Damien has me dying. The Zayn Malik to Bobby Brown comparison is absolutely diabolical.
But if you look at just the dynamics of a singing group and the way that they jumped off the bridge from what they were in the singing group, it's pretty close.
Yeah. This says, would love to get y'all's opinion. Do you think Nate Oates would leave for the NBA first, or would he want the Michigan State job once Izzo retires? Because supposedly that is his dream job. I mean, I would think if he had a choice between the two, I would think NBA probably would be this path that he would want to take and take on the next challenge, but I don't know. Okay, here you go. Callum says, DeBoer is actually the Temu version of Kyle Shanahan. Okay. Now we're talking here.
Understandable.
I think that's an interesting comparison there. We're back with you tomorrow at 6 a.m. We'll have some more fun. Mac and Cube is up next.